Hello all to everyone in what has been an interesting Monday for those all those Victorians and in the first day of going back into proper lockdown. Obviously COVID 2.0 and the waves that are happening and the tragedies that are happening and the illness that is spreading and going berserk. Obviously this time where we're at the moment, it's going to be a really interesting 6 weeks. But as I keep saying, the last couple of weeks, we just need to keep playing our role, putting the mask on, staying home, doing whatever you have to do, whatever's abiding by policy, whatever the government's doing. Which, you know, for those people also out there, having their say about how the government have gone about it, if they've done it rightly or wrongly, you know, they're probably doing as best as they can. I appreciate that we're not in a position or experience or situation that we would like to be in compared to the rest of the country, but comparing to the rest of the country is a different story because we can react or control what we're doing right now, right here. So it's really need to know that we need to keep our role, stay at home, do what you need to do, and make sure that at this current time, that you are checking in with each other and you are looking out for each other and that you are investing in yourself and your self-care and understanding how it all works for you, because it's you know, if you don't take it for what it is and you sort of put yourself into a position of getting really angry and bitter with what's going on, you are and we are not going to move forward, and we're not going to get through this as well as we'd like to. So it's but you know, please play your role and make sure you are staying at home. Obviously, in a time like this, we also at LMLY are working really hard behind the scenes to develop more work. Our support pathway program is being accessed by a lot of people, obviously during the times that we are going through right now. But you know, if you do need help, please reach out to us through the website or you know, at support@lumlyu.org.au and speak to the team there, and let's help you. Let us help you manage through this process. We're also obviously with our programs online, in Lifetime of Wellbeing. You know, and we are connecting that into a journey session. So next Monday night, as opposed to a Monday Night Live, there will be a journey online webinar session. So please get involved in that, which will lead into you having access to the Lifetime of Wellbeing program. Also, our Welfare Warrior training program, which will be the first one will be finished tomorrow night after the second session of that program. August dates are open and open, so please book in and get there going. September dates will be released for that program in the coming week. But you know, there's exciting things going on, and we look forward to sharing with you more about what's happening in our world, but hopefully that we can help you to understand a little bit better about the journey and understand how we can go through this together. But I'm very excited tonight to have one of the all-time Aussie champions, champion blokes, champion fellas, and you know, also a champion boxer, and one of the actual first to really make sure he's put his stamp on the international stage as a part-time boxer, a full-time worker. Kane Watts, welcome, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Thanks for having me.
Big Sugar Kane Watts, mate. You're, you know, I just want to go through your little bio here, all right? So Kane Watts, also known as Sugar Kane Watts. Clearly, it's a very creative nickname that they all come up with, isn't it? He's a 38-year-old plumber by trade and also a professional boxer. Started his career at the age of 24 after playing footy for many years, which we'll go to in a second. Kane had enough of playing footy by then and decided to have his first fight, which was a kickboxing fight in honour of his grandfather, who was about to pass away. After having his first fight, he fell in love with the sport and then had another fight in Thailand in 2005. He then moved on to boxing, where he had further 12 amateur fights before decided to turn professional. Kane then had his first fight in Darwin in 2008, and since then has had a further 25 fights, which includes winning a state title, an Australian title, a knockout of the year, 2 Oceania WBA titles, It's been ranked as high as number 10 in the world, which I done. As of last year, in the world as of last year, and also fought in Paris for the world title last year, which is being known as your Rocky Balboa moment. I heard. Kane, looking forward to fighting against this COVID period, but obviously had a great connection into Love You. He's a great friend of our board member, Matty Pilios, and from the boxing world. But has some lived experience and has been connected to a number of suicides in his community, in his network. So, welcome, Kane. It's a good little bio there, but here we have it from the mouth, mate. The man. Obviously, as I said, I just want to touch on your grandfather.
Yeah.
That was the reason. What was the connection there?
My grandfather had a few fights, well before I was born, obviously, but
yep.
He was a bit of a boxer, and it was sort of a thing in the family. And I'd always said that I wanted to have a fight in front of my grandfather.
Yep.
So he had about 3 or 4 strokes and was sort of declining and heading away from us. So I wanted to cross that one off the list before he passed away, and I was lucky enough to do it probably a month before he died. So,
yeah. And what was his advice to you? This would be interesting. Do you remember?
He wasn't talking too well by then. So
yeah. But obviously, was very proud of you. You can sense the pride that he had in you. For going down that track. It would have been an amazing experience. So then obviously you went into another fight in Thailand, which, for a big fella, probably not the ideal weather conditions.
That was a bit of an experience, that one. I'd had food poisoning for 3 days leading up to the fight night. So
no!
Tossing up whether I was going to fight or not. I hadn't eaten a thing before the fight.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd flown all this way and done the training leading up to it. So I wasn't gonna waste that opportunity. So I decided.
How'd you go?
I ended up winning that fight.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
so does that say much for you, or is it saying not much for the other fella that you beat after?
I fought previous 3 nights in a row and fought again. bit of culture over there. So.
Yeah. As I said, would have been a very hostile and an amazing experience to kick off into that. And if you can survive 3 nights of stomach virus in Thailand, I think you survive it.
I was on a group tour with about 70 odd people with the Bob Jones martial art crew, and we all went out for a group dinner probably 3 or 4 nights before that, and I think 55 of us out of 70 got food poisoning. So, well, it was a pretty sight.
We won't name that restaurant because obviously we can't get there, but I don't think it'll be good marketing for that. So then obviously for the amateur world before turning professional.
Yeah, mate.
Why the turn? What was it that drove you to go, let me do this?
I don't want to badmouth the amateur system, but they just... It wasn't suited to my style, and it was just a few things that I was unhappy with, and I thought if I'm sacrificing this much of my personal life and things to fight, that I might as well get paid for it and step up.
Yeah.
And it was more suited to my style when I went from amateur to professional.
Matty Pilios reckons that's the case because you couldn't get a helmet for your head.
Probably not at the moment, mate.
But as you said, you talked about your style of fighting. You have been known as the brawler boxer. Is that because you took it up at a later date, or that's your mindset and that's how you go about it?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think my skill set probably wasn't as good as some of the guys that started in their early teens, but I just, as I play football, I love the inside hard stuff. So that's the way I fought.
Sorry, mate, you cut out there. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi. Obviously, everyone's staying at home. Everyone's hogging the Wi-Fi. So it's here we go. Sorry about that. Sorry, you're saying?
Yeah. Where'd you hear up to?
No, that your style of fighting and how that came about.
I was always a bit of a rough in-house football player sort of thing. So
yeah,
it's taken up at a later stage where I wasn't drilled with the skills of boxing too well. So that's how I had to survive, sort of thing, in the early stages, and that worked to my advantage later on in my career, I think.
Yeah. You said with the conversations we've had, we've talked about you took up boxing for an outlet. It was to get away, from what the world was. Who introduced you to it? Was it more obviously you said the grandfather was an influence for the idea, but obviously boxing has been a good escape for you. Because you said you are a plumber, you're a tradie.
I love my work and stuff, but I've always needed that outlet or that place to switch off from everything. And for me, boxing was that was it from an early stage. So when I started my business up, I actually, that was the same year I turned professional. So. But throughout my whole professional career, I've been running my own business and working, and I don't think my business would have lasted as long as it has if I didn't have that outlet of boxing to have my escape and to clear my head and to settle me.
Yeah. Do you think it's the same the other way about if you didn't have your business, that your boxing wouldn't have gone to the levels it did?
Yeah. That's a hard one, that one. I never really thought about that side of it. Yeah. But I guess if I had the same mindset I do with boxing now in my work, I would have needed something outside of boxing to.
Yeah.
I just feel like everyone needs that time away just to settle their mind and clear their heads.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you said that escape of what that is. So that there's disconnection.
Yeah. It's a form of meditation for me.
Yeah, well, so some would think it's not so peaceful, but yeah, but that's just
When I say that, like, it's not you're in there every night boxing away. the things that go with boxing, like the training sessions that I'm by myself and running and swimming and stuff. That solo time on my own when I'm just doing relaxing stuff is my meditation.
Yeah, and finding in touch with yourself and finding your inner peace.
They all go hand in hand with the build up for fights. So
yeah, and so that number of fights over we're talking 12-year period. Yes.
Yeah.
In the pro world. That's a couple of years. It's when was off time? How did you find off time? Because it sees like you're always ready to go.
There was 2 years I didn't fight for after 2016.
Yeah.
With, a few personal issues that were going on and stuff. But during that time I struggled because I wasn't doing it. Yeah. When I started back after that long break, I felt that much better after I got back into it.
How? Not that you would have been overweight, but how much weight did you have to lose to get back to the condition you were in? You need to be a bit.
You didn't see the photo before the world title fight last year, the comparison?
No, I must have missed it. I apologise.
I went from 112 kilos down to 89 kilos in 6 weeks.
Wow. Wow. Let's see. Is this the... What is this one? Did you say that? Nah. Where am I?
I was in Prime Nick. Yeah, that's when I won the Australian title.
Prime Nick. This is obviously with the crew.
That's to my Instagram page. So.
Okay, I'll get to it. I'll find it. And little man,
that's my brother.
Little brother, cruising along. How old is he?
He's 14 now.
Going all right? Cheers.
Yeah, he's now.
Going all right, and obviously looking up to a great bigger brother to look up to.
Yeah, he's got an awesome dad and good family around him. So yeah, we're all lucky.
Yeah. And here he is. Which one's this one?
That was on the Anthony Mundine undercard at Exhibition Centre.
Okay,
Actually,
cool.
Shane Tuck had his debut that night.
We'll get to Tucky shortly with your relationship that you had with Tucky. Obviously, we said passing last week, so we'll get to them at the take off there. But
that's all,
title fight.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure if anyone else has really noticed, but it's about as Aussie as you could get there, Kane. You're straight into the photos after it, and you've got the old cut and draft in your hand.
I'll blame one of my good mates, Brad Salton, for that. He as soon as he got in the ring, he threw me a beer, and then every single photo I'm in, I'm carrying a beer.
You wouldn't be able to do that a lot now, but that's interesting. So obviously family and that there, so it's obviously a very proud moment.
Yeah, my grandfather there up the back, he's 85 now, so
yeah, knocking it out. There you go. And here he is, the king.
Yeah,
the king, getting it done.
Same night as the other night at the exhibition centre, the other photo, sorry.
Yeah. Before here he is, serious mode, promo time. It's all happening. The model, the pretty boy boxer. Here he is. So it's obviously that was before your boxing career started, mate. So it's all happening.
Before the green fight, that one.
So I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
An amazing build up. Obviously, the result not what you're after, but the build up to that and how that all went. Like, talk us through it, because the experience of that would have been more amazing for Danny than for you, because he gets to tell his grandkids that he boxed Kane Watts. But
yeah, mate, it was it had every emotion you could think about that fight. Like I started off excited that I was going to be fighting my idols, the guy that sort of inspired me to even start fighting. Right before I started boxing, I went to his fight when he fought Anthony Mundine there for the first time, and that sort of kicked me off and wanting to fight in try my hand at boxing after that. So I went from that then to a bit of disappointment the way I was treated during and after that fight.
Yeah.
Come down after that fight, like I went from the pinnacle of thinking that that was going to take my career somewhere else, and it sort of fell by the wayside for other reasons after that fight.
Yeah. And what do you put that down to? You can talk about it. There's a whole range of things.
Bad making on a personal side.
Yeah, and that's the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, at the time you're not thinking those decisions are going to.
Life's a roller coaster. It's never just an uphill incline. It's up and down and left and right. And you're getting hit with curveballs every day.
Yeah, and obviously that world we're living in and helping people understand how that works is because it is a journey. You talk about the fact of someone in your position have gone, well, he's fought for national titles, he's fought for world titles, successful business person, he's doing all right, blah, blah, blah. But it's obviously what people don't see away from the public life, the public life, because and there's influences that aren't in our control. There's influences in our life that are in our control.
Yeah.
And at the time you never think of it going, oh, this is a terrible decision for my life. Let's do it. Let's get involved. Let's get involved in this, and let's stuff it up as much as I possibly can.
Sometimes you get caught in bad situations, and you try to make good of a bad situation and stick it out, but in the end you just stick it hold of it,
Yeah. Do you think that's more of a male thing? Obviously historically male proud. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, I think so. In my instance, I think it was very much so.
Yep.
Yeah, failures, well, for me, failures always been something that I don't like. So you
Yep.
always try and prevail somehow, even if the odds are against you.
Yeah. And obviously the learnings that you take from those failures, and and using them as motivation, because and that's what obviously, and my understanding around boxing is that you need to learn like that. If you don't learn like
Yeah,
that, you learn from your experiences and actually utilize that power, that you're going to get smacked and you're
yeah,
out. So obviously, we got to that position in boxing because you're able to learn from those experiences. But then, as you said, not everything works out in the way that you wanted it to.
yeah,
Want to talk about Tucky, mate?
yeah,
It,
mate. Yeah,
obviously had a bit to do with him through the boxing world. It was extremely heart wrenching and sad. I played with Tucky for a couple of years at Hawthorn.
yeah.
I was devastated to hear a couple of weeks ago that had happened. Um, Tell us your experience, mate.
Yeah, Tucky, we wouldn't say we were close friends. We were every time we saw each other, it was like he was always a really nice guy, honourable guy, just always
Yeah,
smiling. He just
yeah,
it was just a tragedy. It shook me up a little bit when I heard the news the other day because I couldn't believe a guy like that would head down that road. But
yeah,
the pressures, obviously, of I think personal pressures and family being over in Adelaide
yeah,
and then pressures of finishing your AFL career and stuff. And yeah, dealing with that, you would know very much so what it's like with that massive come down. I know I felt it. I've dealt with it a couple of times with after the Green fight and going
yeah,
from probably what I thought was the pinnacle of my career at the time and thinking it was going to kick on to nothing for 2 years. And
yeah,
then again, I felt a little bit after the world title fight again. So
yeah.
it's something you just have to, like you said, you just got to adapt to how you're feeling and sort of be a bit of a chameleon with it and learn to deal with it.
Learn to work it through and learn to
Yeah,
work the process. Learn to work the process. And obviously, and as I have, had dealt with it, had experienced it in a past life. You say going off the cliff after professional sports, and
yeah,
or being in a structured sports system. So it's and obviously from my understanding through the AFL world, they're putting a lot more effort
and,
and
and so
resource into.
I know with boxing, I'm not too sure with the Olympic sports and that. There's no transition program for people to get back in their mainstream lifestyle again.
Yeah, yeah.
Something that be addressed.
It's interesting. So I know the AIS, they're doing a lot of work in that space now.
Yeah,
Having connected with them a little bit around obviously while they're in there, the wellbeing programs and making sure that they're staying on top of things and having further education or a career pathway outside of their chosen sport. And they're doing a little bit more work in that space now. So the other sports, the more independent sports, there's independent governing bodies. I know there's a ton of work that needs to be done.
yeah,
And for some, but saying that, also there's some players and some athletes that do transition really well, and
yeah.
that's fine.
You see a small minority of people that are able to go into a media career or a coaching role or something.
Yeah,
But a lot of guys are just the day you finish, you've forgotten about it. There's nothing. They feel like they're useless in
yeah,
mainstream society.
yeah. But you said there's so much investment that you put in to your chosen sport.
Yeah,
And you're putting yourself, sacrifice and putting all that sort of thing, and then it takes a hit at your identity because when you are shown the door, is because there's not too
yeah.
many people that go out on their own terms. And when you are shown the door, it's a bit like it's pretty much
I've
don't let the door hit you.
I've seen the same sort of thing happen with like high profile businessmen and guys that have owned companies and before that have gone bankrupt. And even though they might have lost what they had. They've still got a lot of knowledge and a lot more to offer other people where they've gone wrong. And there's nothing to help those sort of people to push those through those periods. There's going to be, after this COVID's all finished up, there's going to be a ton of guys that need that sort of stuff.
Ton of people, and as I said, I think that the economic hardship and the economic financial hardships that this COVID world is going to, the impact that it's going to have is crazy. Where we're finding it, as I said, what we're seeing now with identity crisis that a lot of people are going through, because of loss of jobs or change of jobs or demotions in roles, lack of social connectivity. People also sort of not playing the game, that we're all meant to be playing. It's going to be an interesting time, but I think we've done a little bit of talking lately with some governing bodies around how we're supposed to move forward. How are people supposed to move forward? And I think and even they don't know. And what we keep bringing it back to is that we need to be simplifying our process. Simplifying your process of what your life's about at the moment, working it through, evolve back into your routine, because routine is one thing that you have control over right now, and it might be restricted in your capacity, but you've got control over it.
Funny, routine for me is massive. Like if I'll either be in a good routine or a bad routine, and when that bad routine comes into play, like I don't want to get out, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do anything. But when I'm eating well, when I'm training, when I'm fit and healthy, everything just seems to work out. Issues aren't as big issues as they are if you're not in that mindset. Yeah.
Do you understand, or are you aware when you're out of routine?
Yeah, very much so.
Who triggers it? You or somebody else?
Me.
Who says? You say it? Yeah. Yeah. What is it? What's your first?
I went through it last year. I went from the start of the year. I don't like using the word depressed. I was in a bad way. I was sitting on my couch every single weekend, just drinking by myself, eating crap food. I knew myself I needed to get away and just I needed to go to Thailand. I go over to a place over there where it's like a full fitness camp. Like everyone's there, like-minded people. There's no bars, no drinking there. I needed to do that to jog myself to get into that good routine again. So I did that in July. I come back. I trained up until September. Then I went back there for a month. While I was over there, that's when that world title shot opportunity come up. Yeah. So then I went into full-blown training where I was just dog at a bone and ended up losing 23 kilos in 6 weeks and flying over to Paris and fight for the world title.
Thanks for coming. It's not what I had planned for, but obviously putting yourself in that position.
I went from one extreme to the next. Just
with that. Then, how are you keeping routine now?
How am I keeping routine? I'm getting up early every day. I'm enjoying work. I'm training every day. Got a gym set up at home and stuff. So before restrictions today, I was still able to get some sessions in with my trainer. So for me, a massive thing is just your diet as well. Like if I'm eating crap food, it just resonates throughout the rest of my outings and what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you do love the old time on the lips, mate.
The which?
You do love your food.
Yeah, mate. If there's food in front of me, I intend to just keep eating to make myself sick. Remember when I was a kid my dad took me to Sizzlers.
Sizzler.
I ate that much food. I was walking out of there. I started bawling my eyes out to my dad, and I was just like, "Don't take me back here again."
So you're the one that put him out of business. We remember that there's on all you can eat. Get in there, bang, happening, and then put your mouth under the dessert bar with the 150 other kids that have been there that day. So, they wouldn't have coped through COVID, that's for sure. It's anyway, mate, we talk about that escape that you do, and it's escaping into training and watching your sort of self through your nutrition and mateship. Growing up down in the Mornington, down in the Peninsula Way, there's a high rate. There's actually a high rate of very high rate of youth suicide down in the Mornington Peninsula Way, and especially of late. And I know a good mate of yours had suicided a couple of 18 months or so ago. It's obviously
that was a real hard time for me. I had a good friend of mine, Reese, take his life about a month out from my fight, started last year. And then 2 weeks later, I had another mate of mine do the same thing the week before my fight. So it was a real hard thing to deal with around that time.
Yeah. How did you deal with it?
Probably not the best. Like a week before that fight, I was ready to pull out. I've been drinking up until that fight, which I'd never done before. Like I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
It's just. It's been a hard thing I've dealt with it, unfortunately, a lot of times throughout my life. People being taken from me and death. But when people are close to you, close friends and stuff like that, it's not good. Like my Australian title fight when I fought for that in 2015, my grandma passed away that morning of that fight. Like it was, I've dealt with that sort of thing a lot.
Wow. Do you use that? Do you use those experiences? I don't know to say this right way. Do you use those things as experience as motivation to make sure that you keep kicking goals?
In all those instances, I did. That night after, or the fight after Reese took his life, I had his whole family there at the fight.
Yeah.
I had his name on my shorts, and I felt like I wanted to do that for him for a send off and sort of give back to his family. How much he meant to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and a hats off to the Trimbath family, and there we I actually was asked by a co-friend of ours, Anthony Ferraro, to come and talk at a sort of a gathering.
Spoke very well, that mate.
Pardon?
I said you spoke very well. That.
Quite a daunting experience, but thanks, Kane. Oh yeah, as I said, it's quite a daunting experience, and to go into a room through to speak on such an occasion. But as you said, you can take these experiences and use the emotion as a motivation to make a difference. Yeah. And sort of carry those messages forward and make sure that people are connecting to the fact that we are here and we are here together. And that we are never alone, because it's the amount of session talks that I've had to do, or connections into the community I've had to do to organisations, schools, sports clubs, workplaces, for people that have had a member of their suicide is not an experience that I'll ever forget. Like the experiences I'll never forget, and the emotion, the raw emotion from the people, just knowing that, having people care, and that we're all, as I said, we're all in this together. I think it's.
I was very glad you were there that night. I was able to have a good chat with you and open up about the struggles and the battles I was going through at that time too. But that meant to me that night.
Yeah, and absolutely timely have that conversation and be there. And obviously, you weren't knowing that I was going to be there, but it was a timely conversation, and it's you talk about your battles. Obviously, there's some stuff going on off field. We'll talk about how are you coping through it all, mate? Where's your mindset at this very current time? Being nice.
I've been I've been going through a shocking year this year. Like, I haven't seen my kids for like 24 weeks now.
Yeah.
For reasons I can't really talk about, but
Yeah.
That at the start, like I started to spiral down again at the start of the year, like I was last year. But I've used that as motivation again now. Like I'm taking that on as a fight. Like when they come back to me, I want to be 110% of who I am. I want to be in the best place. I want to be able to give them everything that they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being a great role model to your kids and knowing that
I want to be someone my kids can look up to and be proud of to look at their dad. That's a massive motivation for me as well. And then I love being able to jump on here with you and do this sort of thing. That's I love to be able to give back, and that's what I want my kids to see me as.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the people that do know you would think of the same thing. So, I appreciate your time here, and I appreciate you as a human being, Kane, because, the messaging that you put out there around the fact that we all go through the different challenges that we go through in life, but, that hard work and your determination and your discipline to make it work, and your commitment. And I think one of your Matty Pilios says this is about your commitment to your cause. Yeah, whether that be through your boxing, through your work, through your friends, or through spreading a positive message to the people.
Yeah.
It's that's what you're known for.
I've been very lucky to be surrounded by good people that care about me and are always there when I need them. And I just want to be able to offer that sort of thing like you are to people that don't have that big support network. There's plenty of people out there that need it, but just haven't got the right people around them. They delve into the wrong crowd and end up going down a path that they shouldn't.
Yeah, which is an easily led path to go down for a lot of people when you're searching for something. Because when you're searching for something, even though you don't know what it is, what you're searching for, it's a lot easier to get down to that path than it is for the more positive path. Because the positive path can actually take a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment and discipline to invest in this person. To go down that wrong path sometimes it can be an easier path, but as you said, it's giving guidance and support around the fact that we need a system for everyone to engage in.
Falling into false acceptance with the wrong people and with the wrong substances or medication taken. Yeah,
100%. It's providing a framework or a system for people to access is what we're all about. We know our thing called Never Alone, and that's what we're here to make sure that message is being spread. And we're in this together. So it's but what do you your connection into self-care now? You spoke when we spoke the other time about you love getting down to the sea baths down there. Obviously you can't do that at the moment.
As I said, that place for probably 10, 12 years has been my little meditation hub where I go and just switch off from the world and just forget about everything, just it resets me.
Did you was it a hot cold thing? Were you running from the beach into the bars or into the hot water? Or?
Steam room, into the bay, then into the hot spa, then back into the steam room.
Yeah.
Do that 3 or 4 times.
Did you use cold therapy much? It's interesting to understand.
I use the cryotherapy a little bit here and there, but
did you?
Yeah, nothing beats the bay water in the middle of winter. Like there's no escape. Touches everything with your body.
Yes, I remember we always done the time. We used to do it a lot in the footy recovery days. As you walk in, you're all thinking you've got this bit of a strut on, thinking you're all that, and then as soon as the old water reaches a certain level and it sprays up at you a little bit, you start running around with a bit of a prance.
It was like Bigfoot, bloody just grab your lungs and just
It's very good. It's but obviously the world that we're living in now, there's a lot of research going into obviously cold therapy and the ice bars, and and it's quite funny that people talking about doing ice bars now. That ice bars have been around for 30 years, however long. It's getting into an ice bath was never an issue until the thought of it getting into it was never an issue. It was actually sitting in it became the problem, because it definitely tests your manhood out. But it's another story for another night.
The actual ice bars, they're putting like big slabs of ice in there, and like that's the bay on steroids.
So, and no crushed ice, no Western version.
No.
That straight through the ice slabs. So good on them. No, good on them. Obviously, for the people out there, let's give you an idea of what training camp looked like. So originally you talked about 6 weeks leading into the title fight.
Yep.
What was a typical day? I know it was all different, but give us an idea of a typical day.
When I was in Thailand, I was doing 4 sessions a day. So I'd morning do a boxing session. I'd go have breakfast at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'd go to a yoga session there at 10:30.
Yeah.
I'd do a strength and conditioning session in the arvo, and then I'd either have a sparring session or another skill session in the afternoon.
Wow.
And
it's a typical day.
While I was there, I was lucky enough to have like some pretty well-renowned fighters. The bare knuckle world champion was there. I was sparring with him. So he won.
Okay.
He won the bare knuckle world title. What was it, 2 weeks after he left our training camp? So it was pretty full on. This guy used to fight in the UFC and stuff, and I had a couple of other high-level Muay Thai fighters and MMA guys there from Russia and stuff that I was sparring with. So it was a massive experience and helping my confidence leading into that world title fight. Yeah.
And obviously we get that same experience in Australia, so that camp style here.
You've got guys coming from all around the world over there, so it's just like if you're there at the right time, you got some unbelievable guys rolling in and out of there like daily. So here you have to travel to get sparring and stuff. Like when I come back to Australia before that lead up for that fight, I was flying up to Brisbane to spar one of the top guys up there. So I'd leave in the afternoon, fly up there, drive from Brisbane Airport to where those guys were, and spar 10 rounds, and then fly back to Melbourne that night.
He must have been worth it.
Yeah, probably did that half a dozen times. Me and one of my trainers, Matty Ball, flew up there. So.
Yeah. You talk about Matty. Matty's been obviously a trainer for yours for a while.
Matty. You could say Matty got me started in fighting altogether. So I got connected to Matty when I was 14.
Yep.
Through that going to train at one of his kickboxing classes, and then I had my first fight under Matty.
Yeah.
I was 24, and then I had the fight in Thailand under Matty, and then I stemmed off into the boxing after that. And then I didn't really reconnect with Matty up until probably start of last year.
Okay.
On a fight level anyway, we'd been mates and travelled around the world in between that. So we were more like friends, and then he come back on board, which I was pretty stoked about to help with my main trainer, Ray. So I've been with Ray Giles, who I've been with since I turned professional.
Okay. Those bonds, those experiences, those bonds that you'll have because
He was at Hawthorn for a while, Ray, actually. He trained, he was Collingwood's fitness trainer back in the early 90s, and then I think he might have gone to Hawthorn in the late 90s.
Before my time, mate. I'm not that old, pal. Settle down, eh? Hey, pull it up a little bit. So, yeah. Even though I do look a little bit older than my years, Kane, I am just turned 40. Yeah, for those that know. Yeah, just turned 40. So,
day over 38, you're looking like?
No, day over 38. Thank you very much. You got me wisdom chin happening. It's all going on in this world. It's obviously, we had at our time, talk about our time at my time at Hawthorn, we had Stan the Man Longinides come down, do a lot of bit of training, do a fair bit of training with us, and then his brother George and a couple of others stayed around, and we did a lot of training with them. Just short, sharp sparring sessions and taking it to another level. And it was at that time when they were down, we were a fierce footy team. We were pumping it every week. We were real good at that time. And the commitment of, obviously he's a bit older than us, Stan the Man.
Yeah.
Ever go up against him at all? Or maybe a bit old for you?
I've been lucky to meet him a couple of times, but he's a bit of a legend of the sport. Yeah,
definitely a legend. He's his brother. If you're calling yourself Stan the Man, you've got to have some confidence in your world. But no, obviously he was a champion and a sort of a bit of a pioneer in the Australian kickboxing world, wasn't he? So it's an amazing. Mate, obviously, professional world, so away from the boxing. Plumber by trade. Give us your business a bit of a plug, mate, before we wrap into some questions.
Watts Bayside Plumbing. We do pretty much everything plumbing related.
I'd hope so. If you're in the plumbing industry, I'd hope you're doing everything plumbing related.
There's many different roof plumbing, heating and cooling.
Yeah.
Underground. So we mainly do underground drainage and that sort of thing. A bit of civil work. So we've been going for 2008.
And you still love it as much now as the day you started?
Yeah, as life, mate, it has ups and downs where you go through periods where you absolutely love it and you strive to get out of bed to go to work, and then other days you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to know about it. So that's life. With everything in life, you have those up and down challenges. With boxing, I've had the same thing. Some days you're eager to get to the gym, and others you don't want to go. Like you don't want to get in the ring. You question yourself doing it.
Yeah, you do, and that's in everything. It is as much as the things are going when things are going well and you're kicking goals and it's all happening. You still have those moments of question. Why am I doing this, or how am I doing this, or how can I keep going with this? And it's obviously very relevant to what people are dealing with right now through this current time, because it is hard to see what you're driving yourself for. Whether you talk about your self-investment, your fitness, or your nutrition, your workplace, that motivation to keep rocking up every single day, because this is not going to last forever.
That's That's the thing. Like my old trainer always said, pain's temporary. It's the same with this. It's a crappy time for everyone. It's temporary. Like we've just got to ride it out, push through it, and better days are on their way. Bad times will pass.
This too shall pass. I've said that many times, and it will. But I think, as I said, we sort of leads us into the fact that we are in this together. But as I said, it will pass, but it won't pass until people start doing what they're asked to do. So out there, because we have to have the hardest conversation I've had in a long time with my oldest Alexander, my oldest boy who's nearly 5, and the fact that he can't go to his mates, or he can't go to kinder, or he can't. Those simple little things that you people don't think about in terms of with isolation. I can deal with it personally. I'm okay, but when my little men are being impacted, and then we have an issue. But please, have people out there. But okay, got some questions for you. What would you tell your 15-year-old self? Oh, this could be interesting. This could be interesting.
Be patient. Don't expect everything to happen overnight.
Be patient. I like it. Could have gone anywhere with that, mate. Mateship's one of your highest qualities, mate. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, mate. I got pretty old school morals, mate. So my mates, I've
Yeah.
got plenty of very close friends, and they mean the world to me. I class all them as family. You know, they're not mates; they're
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. And you still, there are a lot of blokes that you've been connected to since school days. Am I right?
A lot of them, and some have come afterwards. You know, and
Yeah.
they're just the qualities of the type of guys that I respect and I want in my life. So I'm lucky enough to have great guys around me,
Yeah.
male and
Right.
female.
Yeah. Love it. What would you tell your mate who's battling a mental health challenge?
Well, depending on situation, but
Yeah. Yeah, and that's correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing that got told to me. Like pain is temporary, and this will pass. Like
Yeah.
to guys that don't think it will, and they get caught up in the moment and do the wrong thing. Like, well,
Yeah.
I've been in that situation where I've gone to bed many times hoping I didn't wake up, but I've pushed through, and better days are beyond that shitty point.
Yeah. But as you said, each situation is different.
Yeah.
The circumstances for everybody and how they go about it and how it's impacted it is different. It's for every individual, but it is, but it's temporary and it won't last. But you've got to make sure it works for you. You've got to, as we keep talking about in the theme from the night, is you've got to work it. You've got to work your support. You've got to work your self-care. You've got to disconnect from the troubles, or you've got to reconnect into the positives and make it work, because there's experiences that you need to learn from.
You got to not let those situations swallow you up, like, and it's not just the case of one thing. Like you can talk to people. You got to address your diet. Everything is a little 1%er in getting yourself back on track.
Yeah, you should creating a more holistic approach, because and it's looking at all the different components. And
you look, when you go down that bad path, people start drinking, taking stuff. Like they're not addressing the issues properly. I've had one of my good friends who's just gave a drink up. He was having bad business troubles and just always turning to the bottle. But now he's got off that, and he's turned a leaf. Like, his issues now aren't the molehills that he can't get over.
Yeah, but and as you said before yourself, working the routine and working your self-care, those things that you would think that are serious issues, they are serious issues, but you know how to deal with them. You can manage your way through it, and you can work your process to go through it. Because if you're not investing in yourself, your foundation of understanding and being mindful, it's not there. So those situations that might be little things actually turn into much larger things, and for a lot longer than they should be. It's you're a wise old man, or wise young man compared to me. Sorry, Kane. What tools, activities, obviously training is a big thing. What's anything outside of the box that you do?
The main thing for me, like we spoke about before, was just that I used to get it if I go for a massage, where I'd always fall asleep when I was getting massage. I'd wake up and like the massage, I could go on for 5 minutes because I've just passed out during it. I need that away place where I can just switch off and just not think about any troubles or anything. You know, just I need that time for my mind to settle in it and repair, ease itself.
Yeah, and that's a very, very important point. It's finding what works for you, but finding just those moments to escape. And it's not to say that the issues or anything is going to be gone when you get back, but what you've been able to do by slowing your process down and actually giving you a clearer process.
It's the same with your body. When you do a hard training session, you need to relax your body. Your body repairs itself when it's sleeping, and then your mind's not. If you don't take that time to rest your mind, then you're sticking the hole deeper for yourself.
Yeah, pretty good. But how do you get to sleep? What about those people that can't sleep, mate? This is an issue for I could go all night on, and people come to me and say, I can't sleep.
People can't sleep.
But you've got to disconnect before you go to bed. Disconnect, slow yourself down.
Yeah, but what's helped for me is training in the afternoon to time myself out, so I have to go to sleep.
Do you? Like
Yeah.
it? So I'm the opposite. I train at a ridiculous time of the morning. So I'm tired by the end of the night because there's nothing worse than rocking another 4 hours sleep and thinking that life's going to be okay. So like this morning, I was up at 4:15 this morning, headed to the garage and rode the bike for a couple of hours. You know, rode sort of 60 k's I think this morning on the bike before the kids woke up. But you know what? As I said, that's what works for me. You know,
Everybody's different. Everybody
find what works for you.
You just need to find that routine that's going to be best for you, and that's trial and error too. Like you can't just say one thing's going to work for someone and they do it. Like just try different things till you find a pattern that's good for you.
Yeah, perfect. And lastly, mate, what do you wish for?
What do I wish for?
And let's be nice.
Wish for in what sense?
What do you wish for in this world? What's your future? What's your obviously with your kids is a big one.
Yeah, I wish that I can bring my kids up in a nice, humane world where they can experience all the great things I've experienced, traveling the world and going to places that I have.
Yeah, and that'll be an amazing experience for anybody to appreciate. Obviously, travel and being a part of a great world that people are.
Something many people are missing there. You know, you take it for granted when you're able to just jump on a plane and go away. And as soon as it's taken away from you, you soon realise how lucky we've been.
Yeah, and how lucky we've been, and the gratitude that we need to show to this world and these people around us is an important one. Mate, I from everyone at Love Me, Love You, people that have been watching, there's been lots of comments that have been coming through. So we haven't got to them all. Just been so enthralled with what the big fella's been talking about. But there's been a lot there, so I'm just going to touch on a few, mate, before we finish off. Michelle says it's your life outside your sport or ambition that can be challenging. The key is who you are in sport and outside your sport or career. You know, it's understanding who you are, and this that self-awareness piece that we talk about in life. It's really understanding to, as I said, disconnect and have the reconnection. Cody says, great stuff, Kano. Oh, thanks, Cody. Cheers, mate. And a guy that, he's been a big supporter of ours over the last few years, Roy Brent. He's champion little man. Pardon?
He's a great friend of mine, actually, Roy, too. So.
Great little champion. So he actually came to a breakfast of ours that we had at Etihad Stadium a few years ago and brought one of his one of the young fellas that he was mentoring and helping out because the experience that he brought and paid for this young man's ticket to come to the breakfast because we had Luke Hodge speak at that breakfast that time, and he brought him there, and is a great fella, and what he does for the community is hats off to you.
He's done that time, Roy. He's done great things around St Kilda for a lot of people.
Yeah, amazing man. Time away and settling your mind is so important to find balance and harmony within yourself. Most definitely. Here he is, the main man, Pilios, two absolute legends, very strong, buddy. And for those that remember, like Matthew Pilios, and the connection that you know him as well, Kane, is the man a man of the people, he's a man of community. He will give his heart and soul to every person that he comes into contact with, and from everyone, the same thing at Love Me, Love You, Matty. We appreciate and love your support, mate, because you've been a star. And obviously, I don't know if you know this, Kane, but Matty Pilios is a actual co-founder of the Love Me, Love You Foundation, and it's a huge support of mine. A huge support of mine in the last, we'll say 7 to 8 years of my life. So I appreciate it.
I remember you telling me a little bit about that previously.
Yeah, he's a superstar. So it's thanks,
Yeah.
Matty. And there he is. Finish it off with give you a little bit of a plumber again. One of the greatest plumbers and men. Good on you, Matty. But anyway, but as I said, what's the future hold, mate? What are we looking? Really smashing at work. We're going to make another fight. What are we doing?
Mate, I'm definitely going to fight again. So I've given myself one more year.
Okay.
So I'm going to finish it up at the end of next year, I think, at this stage. So
yeah.
And business-wise, mate, as I was talking about my kids earlier, like I just want to strive a bit more with my business and just get set up so my kids got something to look forward to, and I can give them the best opportunities in life. So moving forward.
Yeah, and so creating opportunities for them. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
man. I look forward to once we get out of this restriction world, coming down to the peninsula, putting me gloves on, giving you a bit of a run for your money. I look like I've been 10 rounds with someone every day. It's but I usually diffuse a fight with his head before I actually have to use my fist. So it's but I'm a lover, not a fighter. So we're all good here. Okay? But no, I do appreciate it. As I said, man, thanks for your time. Time is your greatest gift you can give anybody in this life. For those that said at the very start, next week, please go to our talent. I'll send a link in. Register through to our online programs. They are there, ready to go. We've had some great traction and some great feedback from those programs. So we look forward to having more people enjoy that and sort of look at how we're investing in ourselves. Some self-care and to give you some greater tools and resource to make sure that we're living a more positive mental health journey, even through this current climate that we're living in. There's many more exciting things that are on the horizon at Love Me Love You, and getting to share experiences with superstars like Sugar Kane Watts. We do appreciate, mate. So thanks very much, and have a good night, mate. Cheers.